The question I'm asking myself is, am I at the end or at the beginning of my journey? Hi, my name is Sandra, and welcome to Tap the Soul. Here we talk about mindfulness, intentional living, a few other things. And for the last 12 weeks, I've been sharing a journey within that I've been on. Whispers Behind My Smile. It is a 12-week journey about self love, self nurturing, and abundance of self discovery. So I asked the question whether I'm at the end or the beginning of the journey because for the last 12 weeks, I've been sharing with you as well as taking myself through this journey and asking myself prompts, which, if you go to the post tab here on YouTube, you will see that every week I have posted reflection prompts. And the goal is to really provoke thought. It is to encourage you to spend some time with yourself, have a conversation with yourself. Grab your notebook, a pen, your notes app, whatever works for you, and just ask yourself the prompts and see what whispers come up as you go along this week to week. It is a free journey. Join at any point in time. The prompts are all there to guide you. There are other things that I do. And one of the things I did share was my mirror exercise, where I have a conversation with myself, sometimes naked. And it's not about the external view, it's about what's going on again within. So the last 12 weeks so far has been quite a journey, I will say. I started the journey with 5 areas of my life that I wanted to focus on. And I've gone through a lot of prompts every week. I've spent a lot of time in my journal, always pen and paper around for me. And before I hit the halfway mark of this journey, I realized that my mindset had already shifted. And the journey was going to take me in a direction that I wasn't necessarily prepared for. You see, I created this program, but I'm doing this as if I'm seeing it for the first time because it is the first time I'm actually going through it week to week, writing in my journal, going through the prompts, and again, some other things. So let me start here. I'm going to take you through each of the prompts. I'll give you some feedback, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So, prompt number one: how has this journey changed my perspective on myself and my life? Prompt number two: what habits, practices, or insights do I want to carry forward? And the last prompt of this journey: what is my long term vision for a life of mindfulness and intentionality? Hmm. Now, um, I wrote down notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything. The 12 weeks has been a lot. And, I've said this in past recordings, so I'll say it again today. This is not an easy journey. The prompts are meant to challenge you to really dig deep and to go within and ask yourself and listen to those whispers that we usually just ignore because we have a lot of life obligations and responsibilities that we need to prioritize in our life. And the whole reason for this journey has been for me to prioritize myself because I've not given myself the right amount of self care required. And I wanted to change that. So, my perspective on my life and myself is that I've realized how much neglect I've put towards myself. And I've been clinging on to people, places, and spaces, looking for what I needed to look for within myself. I've realized that I am worthy. I am to be respected. I am enough. I am deserving of love, and a few other things that I'll talk about in the weeks to come. Total mindset shift. Didn't think I would be where I am right now, but glad that this is where I am in the journey. So, prompts number two: what habits, practices, or insights do I want to carry forward? Now, some of that I mentioned in answering question number one. But for question number two, or prompts number two, really for me, it is balance, discipline, and consistency. So, I journal. Always writing down. I start my mornings with my journal, and most nights I spend my nights with the journal as well as I wind down my night or wind down my day. And what I'm finding is I'm spending a lot of time writing, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do want to carry that forward in a more disciplined, balanced manner and maintain that consistency. I meditate, not always fluently, but fluently enough where I can say I meditate and I can hold truth to those words. I thought I'd be meditating morning and night. I meditate in the morning, don't always meditate at night. Um, a lot of conversations with myself. I talked about the mirror exercise. I will drop the link in the description box below of the past recording. I talked about that exclusively. And just at a high level, over a year ago, I started talking to myself in the mirror. And there's a backstory to that. I explained that in that video. And I've made it a practice. And sometimes it really is, I am standing in the mirror stark naked. And the goal of doing that is to make sure that I'm having the most intimate, unguarded conversation with myself. And yes, I will see the flaws and the blemishes and the extra jiggle here and whatever sagging over there. But that's not the focus of standing in the mirror and having that conversation. It really is to listen to those whispers behind my smile and really have deep, reflective conversations about where I am, where I've been, where I'm going, and embracing it all. And that has not been easy because I've not been a fan of a mirror for majority of my life. Some of the things that I'm going to carry forward during this time, I have fallen back in love with music in a way that I didn't realize that I would. Um, and I'm surprised that I have reclaimed that love just by making really minor changes with how I spend my time and my energy and the spaces that I'm spending it in. And again, a lot of time in the journal. These reflection prompts that I put up where you're asking yourself questions and really just having a heart to heart with yourself, it uncovered a lot for me. And a lot of it was not easy. A lot of it was really, really hard. I talk about reflection, or like I like to call it the look back. When you're taking those moments and you're doing that look back, I encourage it. And I know a lot of people say don't look back. And I'm saying look back, just don't get stuck there. I find that with these adult eyes, as weak as they get from time to time, these eyes looking back at the childhood version of myself or a past episode of something that has happened and it's kind of scarred me in a way that I know I haven't fully addressed it, healed from it, celebrated it, learned from it. Going back and looking at it now has allowed me to see it in a different perspective, seeing it with more clarity, taking the time to allow myself grace to process whatever I need to process that I didn't at the time of the situation or event or moment. And it's given me an opportunity to grow, to really see myself in a different light, in a more positive light, and sometimes in a really dark light as well. But I have to embrace all parts of me. And that's not something that I've done really well in the past either, right? Writing. As I'm saying, I'm writing in my journal. I've been spending a lot of time writing. I usually use a Scrivener app, but I am writing more and I plan to do some stuff with that. And reading. I have been reading The Atomic Habits. I have a list of books that I want to be engaging into in 2025. So when I talk about habits and practices and insights, I will say that it's been taking me back to a version of myself where I remember some of the most passionate things that I loved: writing, reading, music, and incorporating that back into my life and being really mindful about it and really intentional about it. And change is never easy. And it has been difficult for me because I've had to remove myself from people, places, and spaces, or they remove themselves. And that change has been a shift, but I've been learning to embrace it and see that you have to be able to let go in order to let in. And that has been something that I'm going to continuously remind myself about. So, the last prompt: what is my long term vision of my life for mindfulness and intentionality? Pretty much everything I've just said in the last two reflection prompt responses, right? I disrupted my life when I moved across the country. I disrupted my life when I've removed myself or people removed themselves from my space. I've disrupted myself with my way of thinking that I was not worthy, I was not enough, I was not worth being loved, and I didn't belong. Um, Being intentional and taking yourself through those rough spots, because I always say the only way out is through, has been a rough journey, a necessary journey, but it's allowed me to gain fresh perspective on myself at this stage of my life And it's allowed me to really figure out how important being mindful and being intentional is in curating your life and not just scrolling your life away on social media or just floating along through whatever's happening in your life and not taking ownership and accountability of navigating forward. In many videos, I've talked about my inability to have discipline and consistency. And this program has taught me that I've been lying to myself because I have been very disciplined week to week going through this program and doing the prompts and my mirror conversations with myself and my affirmations and my meditation and a few other things along the way. And I've been consistent about doing so as well. So I have been disciplined and I have been consistent. I think I just never gave myself enough credit and celebrated how much I have been disciplined and consistent. So, is the journey at the end or at the beginning? I'm going to say that the journey is at the beginning. And this is the end of the 12-week journey right now. I've already started making revisions of what I want 2.0 to look like, but we're now approaching a new season. It is March at the time that I'm recording this, and that is spring equinox. And that is one of my favorite seasons. Spring and fall are two beautiful seasons to really embrace. For me, spring is all about renewal, it's about blooming, it's about coming to life. And for me, who's been sitting in a passage of heaviness, darkness, and I mentioned that this is my transformation year, coming into this season now is going to be what I've been calling a very soft unfolding. So I'm not rushing to get to the next thing. I'm going to use the next couple of weeks and really just enjoy all of what I've learned, the good and the bad over the last 12 weeks. And then I'm going to continue to move forward, which I'll be doing regardless. But my focus will be a soft unfolding at my own pace that works for me. And I will be mindful and I will be intentional and I will continue to celebrate the moments and I will continue to grieve where I need to grieve. And along the way, I'll make sure that I always allow myself grace. And I will celebrate the things that I may not have accomplished, but I will celebrate my awareness of there is still something that I want to do, or there is something that I just did, no matter how big or small. There are so many times that we gloss over the small moments, and those small moments for me are really the big moments. I will link a podcast that I recorded a couple weeks ago talking about the beauty in the small moments. And I'll also link a mixtape that I made that's on SoundCloud and also Mixcloud, but I'll post the SoundCloud one. Um, when you take yourself through a journey and you really start to ask yourself questions, you are going to hit the rough patches. And as I get ready to close out this recording, my final one talking about my week 12, I'm going to say that I want to tap out here and remind all of you to take a moment and really prioritize yourself. Whether you're doing this program or you're doing some other program or you're reading something along the way, whatever you are doing to prioritize yourself, celebrate that. Even if you're just thinking about prioritizing yourself, celebrate that and then take action. I'm going to encourage all of you to minimize your scroll time and your screen time. I've found that it's been such a difference on me mentally by not spending a lot of time in social media. I've canceled accounts throughout social media. I'm keeping, of course, this YouTube one. I keep my Instagram one, but I will be minimally posting on there as well, posting with intention and posting with purpose. And really, all of that is to as you're focusing on being mindful, we lose our minds and we lose track of what we're doing when we just do the endless scroll. And I want to shift that for myself, and I'm going to encourage that shift for all of you where possible. Spend some more time with yourself. Spend some more time with the people that love you, with the people that you love, and spend less time scrolling through looking at other people's lives, wishing you had their life. You do not know what's going on behind their smile, but you can take a look of what's going on behind yours, celebrate, and do something about it if you need to. We'll be doing a full recap of the last 12 weeks, just taking some nuggets out of each week and putting that all together in a video. That might be a week or two away. I will see how my calendar performs. But in the meantime, enjoy this new season, the soft unfolding, prioritizing you, being mindful, and being intentional. Peace, love, and blessings.